The cape that's killing us. Why Black women must choose softness over survival. I recently had the profound honor of sitting down with Amanda Mason, a hairstylist, master life coach, and survivor who has transformed unimaginable pain into a ministry of healing for Black women everywhere. Amanda's journey from childhood molestation, date rape, divorce, and emotional abuse to becoming a beacon of hope and restoration is nothing short of miraculous. She didn't just survive, she rebuilt herself with Christ as her foundation. And now she's helping other women do the same. Amanda is changing the world one woman at a time, teaching us that our wounds don't have to be our identity and that healing is not only possible, it's our birthright. Today, I want to share the insights from our conversation because what Amanda taught me challenges everything we've been told about strength, survival, and what it truly means to heal. We live in a world that celebrates the strong Black woman, the one who holds it all together, the one who never breaks, the one who carries everyone else's burdens while her own soul is bleeding. And for years, decades even, many of us have worn that cape with pride. We've been the backbone, the rock, the one everyone leans on. But here's what Amanda helped me see and what I want you to really hear today. That cape, it's suffocating us. And the very thing we've been taught to celebrate, our relentless strength, might actually be the thing keeping us from the healing, the softness, and the joy we desperately need. Amanda shared something with me that stopped me in my tracks. She said that for years she believed survival was her identity. That if she wasn't fighting, if she wasn't overcoming, if she wasn't proving her strength, then who was she? And I wonder how many of us are living in that same prison. How many of us have confused survival mode with purpose? How many of us are so used to the weight of that cape that we don't even remember what it feels like to breathe without it? Here's the counterintuitive truth that Amanda's story reveals. Healing doesn't begin when you're strong enough to handle it. Healing begins when you're finally tired enough to stop pretending you have to be strong at all. It begins when you put the cape down, not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know that carrying everyone else's weight was never your assignment in the first place. Think about this for a moment. We've been taught that boundaries are selfish, that saying no is unkind, that rest is laziness, that softness is weakness. But what if everything we've been taught is backwards? What if the real strength, the kind that actually transforms lives, isn't found in how much we can endure, but in how courageously we can choose ourselves? Amanda told me about the moment she realized she had been living in trauma bonds for most of her life. Relationships where love was conditional, where affection came with strings, where she had to perform, to prove, to shrink herself just to be deemed worthy of staying. And the devastating part, she didn't even recognize it as abuse because it felt normal. It felt like what she deserved. Because when trauma happens early, when it happens often, your nervous system recalibrates. It starts to believe that chaos is home, that pain is love, that you have to earn your place in every room you enter. But here's what Amanda discovered, and what I believe every woman listening needs to hear. You don't heal by finding better people to give your energy to. You heal by learning to stop giving your energy away in the first place. You heal by recognizing that your peace is not negotiable, that your rest is not optional, that your softness is not a luxury, it's a birthright. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds nice, but I have responsibilities. I have children, I have a career, I have a community that depends on me. I can't just drop everything and enter some soft girl fantasy land. And I hear you. But here's the shift Amanda helped me see. Softness is not about abandoning responsibility. It's about refusing to abandon yourself while you're being responsible. It's about leading from a place of fullness instead of depletion. It's about modeling for the people you love what it looks like to honor your own humanity. Amanda shared that one of the hardest parts of her healing journey was learning to say no without guilt, because for so long, no felt dangerous. It felt like rejection. It felt like she was being difficult or ungrateful or not the woman she was supposed to be. But then she realized something profound. Every time she said yes when she meant no, she was teaching people that her boundaries didn't matter. She was training them to expect her depletion. She was co signing her own exhaustion. And here's where it gets really interesting. When Amanda finally started saying no, not rudely, not harshly, but clearly and kindly, something unexpected happened. The people who truly loved her, they respected it, they adjusted, they honored her boundaries because they valued her well being. But the people who were only there to take, they got upset, they called her selfish, they accused her of changing, and that reaction became her compass. It showed her exactly who had been invested in her wholeness and who had only been invested in her usefulness. Let me say that again because it's critical. The people who get upset when you set boundaries are the very people who are benefiting from you having none. And their discomfort is not your responsibility to manage. Your peace is. Amanda also talked about the role of faith in her healing. And I think this is something we don't talk about enough in conversations about trauma recovery. For many Black women, faith isn't just a part of our lives, it's the foundation. It's what held us when nothing else could. But Amanda was honest about something that I think many of us have experienced, but few of us have named. Sometimes the church, the very place that's supposed to be a sanctuary, can become another place where we're told to be strong, to forgive quickly, to move on, to stop being so sensitive, where our pain is minimized and our healing is rushed. But Amanda found a different kind of faith, a faith that didn't demand her silence, a faith that made space for her anger, her grief, her questions, a faith that said, "You are not too much and your healing is not too slow." She found a God who didn't require her to perform, but who invited her to rest. And that shift, that reframing of what faith could be, became the bedrock of her transformation. Here's what I want you to understand: healing is not linear, it's not a checklist, it's not something you do once and then you're done. Healing is a practice, it's a daily choice to honor your truth, to protect your peace, to choose softness, even when the world is demanding you be hard. And some days you'll do it well, some days you'll slip back into old patterns, some days you'll say yes when you meant no, or you'll carry weight that isn't yours, or you'll forget that rest is sacred. And that's okay because healing isn't about perfection, it's about direction. Let me tell you what happens when a woman finally chooses herself, when she finally decides that her peace matters more than other people's comfort, when she finally understands that softness is not surrender, it's strength in its purest form. She stops apologizing for taking up space. She stops shrinking to make others feel bigger. She stops performing to prove her worth. She stops carrying burdens that were never hers to carry. And in that space, in that beautiful, sacred space of choosing herself, something miraculous happens. She begins to bloom. Not the forced, hurried bloom that happens when you're trying to prove something, but the slow, steady, rooted bloom that happens when you're finally giving yourself permission to just be. Amanda is now a master life coach, and she spends her days helping other women walk the path she once walked. She helps them see that their trauma doesn't define them, but it also doesn't have to be ignored. She helps them understand that they can honor their past without being imprisoned by it, She helps them build lives where softness isn't a reward they have to earn, but a reality they get to live in every single day. And here's the part that I think is most revolutionary about Amanda's work. She's not just teaching women to survive, she's teaching them to thrive. She's teaching them that joy is not frivolous, that pleasure is not selfish, that rest is not lazy, that softness is not weak. She's teaching them that the soft girl era isn't about giving up, it's about finally giving yourself permission to live. So, what does this mean for you? What does this mean for the woman listening right now who's exhausted, who's been strong for so long, she doesn't remember what it feels like to be soft, who's been carrying everyone else and forgetting to carry herself? It means this: you are allowed to put the cape down, you are allowed to say no. You are allowed to rest without explanation. You are allowed to choose peace over performance. You are allowed to heal at your own pace. You are allowed to be soft in a world that taught you survival. And not only are you allowed, Chija, what you are worthy. You are worthy of the same care, the same tenderness, the same grace you've been giving everyone else. Amanda's story is proof that it's possible, that you can lose everything and still rebuild, that you can be broken and still become whole, that you can survive the unimaginable and still choose joy. But it starts with the choice to stop living in survival mode and start living in your soft girl era, the choice to stop performing strength and start practicing softness, the choice to stop abandoning yourself and start coming home to who you really are. Because here's the truth that Amanda's life embodies: softness is not weakness. Softness is the bravest thing a strong woman can choose. It's the refusal to let the world harden you, it's the decision to remain tender even after everything you've been through. It's the commitment to protect your peace, honor your boundaries, and choose yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of reverence for the sacred life you've been given. I want to leave you with this. Right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can continue wearing the cape. You can continue pretending that strength means never breaking, never resting, never needing. You can continue giving pieces of yourself away until there's nothing left. Or you can do something radical. You can choose softness. You can choose rest. You can choose yourself. And I know that feels scary. I know it feels selfish. I know it feels like you're letting people down. But here's what I need you to understand: every time you choose yourself, you're not abandoning anyone. You're modeling for every woman watching you, your daughters, your sisters, your friends, your community, what it looks like to honor your humanity. You're teaching them that their worth is not tied to their productivity. You're showing them that rest is sacred. You're proving that softness is strength, Drake. So here's my challenge to you. Today, right now, I want you to identify one thing, just one thing that you've been carrying that was never yours to carry. One responsibility you took on because you thought you had to. One relationship that drains you. One commitment that depletes you. One yes that should have been a no. And I want you to put it down, not tomorrow, not next week, not when it's convenient now, because your healing can't wait. Your peace can't wait. Your softness can't wait. The world needs you whole, not broken into pieces trying to hold everyone else together. The world needs you rested, not running on empty, trying to prove you're strong enough. The world needs you soft, not hardened by years of survival mode. Amanda Mason survived the unimaginable and chose to rebuild. She chose healing over hiding. She chose softness over survival. She chose herself. And in doing so, she's given thousands of women permission to do the same. Now it's your turn. Put the cape down, choose softness, choose rest, choose peace, choose yourself. Not because you've earned it, not because you've suffered enough, but because you exist. And that alone makes you worthy of every bit of tenderness care, and love you've been giving everyone else. Welcome to your soft girl era. The cape is optional, the healing is essential. And the softness is your birthright. It's time to come home to yourself. It's time to rest. It's time to be soft. And it's time to finally live. The question is not whether you deserve it. The question is, will you choose it? Will you choose you? Starting today, starting now,